Hello, this is Dr. Nair from Palm Beach County with another edition of Guidelines to Parents. Welcome to this session. In this session, I would like to inform parents of what is required when they realize that the child has specific needs, especially if the child has autism spectrum disorders. Remember that autism spectrum disorders are of neurobiological in origin. Now, how can a parent identify or notice that the child has needs? That is the critical question. Usually parents think that the child is playing normally, he's growing physically all right, even though he has certain particular habits. They think that the child would overcome it over a period of time. But the differences can be noticed while giving the child directions. When you give the child multiple directions or single step directions, you can see that the child just ignores it or doesn't seem to understand. So that should be a factor. All right. Now the next thing is joint attention, like pointing to an object and asking the child to look at the object. Now most of the time children are not able to do that. A typically growing child would demonstrate it by 1 year when the child is 1 year old. But if the child has needs, especially if the child has autism spectrum disorders, having or demonstrating joint attention is a major challenge. That's another key factor. The third major noticeable thing is regarding communication. The child starts having, or most of the children are nonverbal and they struggle to express their needs. So usually it manifests, or usually you can see them demonstrating behavioral concerns, like they have tantrums, they start screaming, throwing objects. All these are because of their difficulty in expressing their needs. So, another thing, one of the major aspects that the parent will notice is poor socializing skills. Even though the child likes to play with his toys or go through books, he might be just looking at pictures and going through books, he is unable to interact with peers. He is unable to demonstrate parallel play, or he is unable to wait for his turn. He might start grabbing stuff from his friends. So all these things, will help the parent, look at these specific areas more closely and go for help. Coming to the next section, where can the parent go for help? Thankfully, in the United States of America, we have a lot of support from the community and from various organizations. So look for the organization in your neighborhood, and approaching them will guide you to the right people. In Palm Beach County, we are fortunate to have Child Find, and they help in diagnosis and guiding the parent in the right way and placing the child in the right placement at school. So it's a blessing. For those who are in other countries, they can go around and look for organizations that provide support to children with special needs. And I always encourage parents to start providing intervention at the earliest possible, because each day they stay back thinking that the child will improve on his own is going to be a great disadvantage to the child. Start interventions as early as possible. Early intervention is the key, and this would help parents be able to support the child and guide the child in the right way possible. The other thing parent can do is to educate himself or herself. You get a lot of information on the web. Web is the starting point to self-educate. So when you go through the web, you notice that there are a lot of information, but you have to screen through it. Okay, and let me tell you right away, do not panic, because it might be a little bit overwhelming to you. So pace yourself carefully, read through it. Now, if you have questions, you can address it to the organization that is supporting your child. And listen to the guidelines or suggestions that are given by the organization or the teachers or the special educators who supports your child. Because even though you might think that those things are not necessary, your child will benefit a lot from that. Okay, so try to implement what is suggested by the teacher or the special educator or a psychologist if required, and try to implement it in the home environment. Lastly, you have to educate the whole family. Just one person taking initiative in attempts is not enough. It should be the combined effort of the whole family that is going to be helpful to the well development of the child. Thank you. Until next time, bye.